Hey everyone, welcome to Grief and Loss Across the Lifespan. This course, if you've noticed, is actually cross-listed. It is both a COU master's level course and an upper level HSR undergraduate course. So this is going to be a pretty interesting class, I think pretty introspective, a lot of interesting reading and thinking, but of course the primary purpose of this class is to introduce us to the concept of grief and loss. And especially looking at grief as something beyond just bereavement, and also looking at loss as something that happens throughout our lives. So this is going to be a class that will be applicable for a lot of different types of majors, which of course we will have. I've also tried to create this course in a way that can be somewhat customizable for you depending on your career interests and your being undergraduate or graduate. So there'll be different projects that you can kind of customize to your needs so that you can learn some of the things that are kind of tailored to your interests. So I hope you enjoy this class. It's the first time we've offered it at NKU, and I'm looking forward to it. So who am I? I'm Dr. Haley Silvestro. Why am I teaching this class? So I am a mental health counselor. I currently have my LPCA counseling license in North Carolina. I'm hoping to transfer that to Kentucky soon. But I worked in a variety of counseling settings, and of course grief was everywhere, grief and loss, because they're part of life, but I don't think I really recognized that until I worked at a cancer hospital. And as you can imagine, I was doing very specific grief work there. I was working with cancer patients, some of which were preparing themselves to die, family members who were preparing to lose their family members who had cancer, etc. But there was also, it taught me that there was just a lot of other types of losses, even if there was survival from cancer. There was the loss of abilities that they used to have, perhaps a loss of their old lives that they used to have. They had to find a new normal once they got through cancer treatment. And once I was there, I really started to see this thread of grief and loss with all my clients, with all sorts of situations. So again, we're just hoping to expand your curiosity this semester around grief and loss. And also your comfort level with it, because I would say most people that I've spoken to when they're going through a loss situation, one of the most difficult things for them is how do other people respond to them when they're in the midst of that loss. We don't, as a society, tend to have a lot of helpful responses to when people are really grieving or lost something significant to them. So that's something we're going to look at in this class too. So I'm going to go and open the syllabus and kind of go through the semester. This week is really just to orient you to the class and the class expectations. So let's do that now. All right, so let's figure out how to get in the class. So you should have this pop up on your dashboard in Canvas. Grief and loss across the lifespan, and I of course have cross-listed it. So it says COU 594, but that includes COU and HSR students. So you go in, and every week you're going to want to look at the modules. Of course, once I finish this video and post it, there's going to be like a little page under here, and you just click on it and it'll open up, and that's where you get the videos for the week. But let's get your syllabus. I, of course, have syllabus here. It's a PDF, but if you go under Files, look here, Syllabi, I have the syllabus here as a PDF, but I also have them broken down into Word documents. It's the exact same document if you're undergraduate or graduate, but there you go, as a Word file if you need it. So pulling up the syllabus. So again, cross-listed, and this is a web class. My name is Dr. Haley Silvestro, and my office is in the Mathematics and Education building, the 203 Suite Office H. Here is my email. I'm really good about getting back to people through email, and that is my office phone. If you need to meet with me anytime through the semester, feel free to contact me. So again, what is the purpose of this course? It is to explore the nature of grief and loss experiences as they occur throughout the human lifespan, including emotional, physiological, and behavioral impacts of loss, because loss impacts all those things. Loss is a natural part of life. Therefore, this class will give special emphasis to losses and grief reactions beyond just death and bereavement, but we will certainly be looking at death and bereavement. Students will become familiarized with traditional and contemporary models of grief and loss, and this course is designed to provide students with greater awareness, increased knowledge, and basic skills for conceptualizing the needs of individuals adapting to loss. The text we are using this semester looks like this, Living Through Loss. I think it's okay. I gotta be honest, there's no one grief book that I'm like, yeah, that's the one. But I think this will serve us pretty well, and we'll have some other videos. I'll usually post other videos every week for us to also watch to deepen our reading. I'm also going to recommend this book, Grief Counseling and Grief Therapy, especially for my master's students who or any professionals taking this class with the community who want like a good counseling therapy resource for doing grief counseling. I think it's a nice one, and it's only $30, but we will have one chapter from this book which I will post for everyone for the week we have that reading. So as this is an online class, obviously we're not going to have that ability to have those like class discussions in person. So I do expect you to be very like active in Canvas. We're going to have a discussion board every week to kind of fill that gap. And I'll get to that more in a moment. But you do need to log on to Canvas and hopefully look at this video, and I just need to see that you've logged in by Thursday at 5 to be in the course, and that's just a university-wide policy, so we know that you're here, etc. Again, I would encourage you to visit the Canvas site about 3 times a week to participate in discussions, to watch, obviously first watch your videos, post homework, etc., take advantage of materials. Please submit all assignments online through Canvas. I will set that up in a way that makes a lot of sense. I try to organize my class very clearly. Please note that late assignments may not be accepted, but if they are accepted, they will get a 25% reduction per day late. I just really ask that people communicate with me. Sometimes people have good reasons for things being late or things going on, but if you don't communicate with me, you're certainly not going to get any understanding or extension, so please do that. Let me know what's going on. Again, if you have questions for me, I'm really good about getting back to people because I'm addicted to my phone like everybody else. So I try to respond to email within 24 hours during the school week and within 48 hours on the weekends. That basically means I might have a weekend and be gone somewhere, but usually I'm still responding to people. And also, please do not ask questions about assignments within 48 hours of something being due, because then I get flooded by 1,000 questions. So be on top of assignments. That's something I'm going to recommend for being a successful student in this class, is just to, do things in advance. So course materials will be, of course, there'll be a lot of reading from the textbook. I might also post additional readings at different times, but I'm also going to try to make sure to bring in different videos, pop culture videos, science videos, just different things that will help complement our reading for the week. Now let's look at assignments. So something that you want to get used to for this class is when it opens and when it closes. It opens on Wednesdays at 4 and it closes Mondays at 11:59, the next Monday. So you have like 5 days to get things done. I do that so that you can have flexibility of when you like to work. Some people will want to get the class done on Wednesday night or Thursday morning. Other people are going to be doing it on the weekend. That's fine. But just get things in by 11:59. What are our assignments for this class? So weekly activities and discussions. If you've had one of my online classes before, several of you have, you'll be used to this, but I have a discussion board every week. There'll be 15 of them. They're worth 20 points, so that's 300 points total. And so there'll be a prompt every week. We'll have one this week as well. And that's where you respond to the prompt. And I will say sometimes the prompts might include like an activity, like talk to someone about this, or go, read this news article and tell me what you think here. So if you are someone who likes to procrastinate, I would be sure to look at the discussion board sooner to make sure you have time to get them done, to do the activity, to respond. Discussion boards might often also correspond with something in the reading or something in the lecture. I also like them to be discussion boards, so it's also required that you respond to another class member's posting with a comment or a thought on what they posted. They should be written also with attention to grammar and organization. They should be of reasonable length according to the prompt. I can't tell you what that is. It's going to be slightly different for every prompt, right? But there may be some prompts that like a paragraph is fine, but there may be some where a couple paragraphs is more appropriate. And I will grade according to whether or not I felt you really answered what I asked you. So discussion board posts can earn up to 20 points, but again, I could take points off if they seem like they're not fulfilling the requirement. And if you don't include a response to a peer, you can earn a maximum of 12 points. So responding to someone else is worth 8 of those 20 points every week. So just get used to that. And again, that's just a way for us to get to know each other, to have a classroom dialogue, which we, having online. How do you do that? This is how we try to do that. I also can't accept late discussion board posts because they kind of are the class conversation. So if there's a reason why you have to miss it, that's one thing that you really can't make up. So just keep that in mind. But again, you have 5 days to do it. So in most circumstances, it's reasonable that you could get that done. And then if you notice, the most of the assignments in this class are going to be papers. I am not going to have an exam in this course. Why? Well, as we'll get into the content, I just don't feel that it really lends itself to a quiz or exam per se. This class really isn't about knowledge regurgitation. It's a little bit more about taking knowledge and analyzing it and reflecting on it, and also the practice of actually observing grief and loss in the world. So I have 3 papers that you're doing and then a final project. So what are those papers? The first one is a pop culture loss narrative paper, and that will be due, I think, in a few weeks. And I will give you more information next week about this paper. And you can expect that I'm going to give you a little information video about all of your assignments several weeks in advance so that you know what you're doing, but I will give you more details for all of your assignments. But the first one is a pop culture loss narrative. You're going to be watching a movie of your choice and analyzing those themes of loss for a particular character, and that will be worth 100 points. Another thing that I want you to notice is that HSR students will have different requirements than the graduate students. And like, for example, this paper, you don't have to use a specific style guide, but you need to have good grammar and organization. I expect that of everyone. I expect good writing. But this first assignment is going to be a place for me to give you a lot of feedback on your writing, because that's going to be an important part of this class. But again, note that HSR students and graduate students, you're going to be held to a slightly different standard. So I will have that variable requirement also listed in the syllabus. Your next assignment, which is going to be due closer to mid-semester, is going to be a loss interview paper. That's also worth 100 points. You will interview a friend or colleague and discuss an impactful loss experience of their life. You're going to analyze that loss, and by that time, you'll have had more course content, so you'll use some of the things that we've talked about in terms of theories and models of grief and apply that to your conversation. And again, I'll give you more information closer to that time about how to have that conversation, how to choose someone to have that conversation with, etc. That should be written according to APA style guidelines. However, if there are going to be citations involved, I want it to be APA. If for some reason you're from a different discipline and you're very passionate about using a different style, just talk to me and I might consider making that an option. But right now I'm thinking APA guidelines. And then at the end of semester, you're going to have a personal loss narrative due. And so if you notice those 3 papers, they keep building up on each other. You're going to be doing something similar, but it becomes more and more real and personal as it goes along. So you'll build upon you look into a story of your own loss or a series of losses in a short period of time. You'll be asked to analyze that loss, including the developmental nature of that loss, cultural messages that you received at that time, different impacts you experienced, and you also will map on your experience onto a grief theory of your choosing. And again, you'll get more information closer to that time, but that would be, I believe, the final assignment that you turn in the semester, I believe the last week of class. And so that's going to be 5 to 7 pages for undergraduate, 6 to 9 pages for graduate students. And then the last big project is going to be pretty interactive. It's going to be the special topics presentation. And so actually in a couple weeks I'm going to have you turn in your ideas for this, but this is going to be the one, those papers you're going to do at different times, but the special topics presentation is something you can be working on through the semester. And for this, you're actually going to create a virtual presentation between 10 to 12 minutes for undergraduates or 12 to 15 minutes for graduates on a topic related to non-human bereavement loss, and we'll discuss that more. So not about human death, but another loss topic. And you'll do this presentation individually or in small groups, so either by yourself or up to one other partner. And you will create a multimedia presentation, and ultimately it will be uploaded to YouTube, but I will give you plenty of information before then about different things that you can do, but that will be up to you which way you do it. But I will want you basically be creating a lesson, and at the end of the semester, if we kind of go down, these last 2 weeks of class, everyone is going to be responsible for viewing 2 presentations that week. So it's a way for us to really diversify what loss topics we look at, because I couldn't really pick, like, do we look at loss of a physical ability because of this specific disease, or eco grief because like the loss of the planet. They're really endless topics. So I wanted that to be a way for you to pursue your interests and something you want to learn more about, and it's a way for people to get to choose and learn kind of a wider variety of things. So again, that'll make more sense as we get there, but you will be doing a presentation that basically 2 of the last weeks of class you'll be teaching each other in this course. And so there'll be some other pieces, there'll be a bibliography you turn in, a little reflection, and as well as the discussion boards that week will actually be people's responses to the presentations that they looked at. And that's worth 200 points. So that's the largest single point assignment, although discussion board posts are worth all more together. So total, that looks like 850 points for this class. So this is the undergraduate grading scale. And then, of course, the graduate grading scale. And the graduate grading scale, how is it different? Well, there's just no D. So it's either a C and up, or you can get an F. So, and this is our course schedule. Again, this week we're just looking over the syllabus, and we'll have discussion board 1. As we go through the week, the readings will always be here, and then the assignment due. My recommendation is that you actually read ahead. So I encourage you to actually read the introduction before I post my lecture next Wednesday at 4, when I post all the lectures, Wednesdays at 4, and that will kind of keep you on track with things. And so again, most of the time we'll be reading from our main text this here, but I will be posting a different chapter for this week. This week here, the week of the 29th. So we won't have spring break class, but we're going to spend the first part of this semester kind of building up our understanding of grief and loss, looking at theoretical perspectives, cultural perspectives, looking at the grief process, looking at emotional, mental, and physical impacts of grief that commonly are present. And then right before spring break, we're going to get into that developmental piece, looking at common losses in childhood, adolescence, for young adults, middle adulthood, and then old age. And again, that takes us up to special topics where you will be teaching each other for 2 weeks. And then we'll wrap up the course, and your last assignment will be the personal loss narrative. Yes, please look through the syllabus, get comfortable with it. It's really going to be kind of your guide for the semester and will help you plan and prepare as needed. There are also a few more items below the class schedule. Please review those. Let me know if you have any questions. I also just wanted to say, like, what do you need to be successful in this class, or what should you be preparing for? I am very aware that we're going to have a topic that talks about the hard things in life. We're going to be talking about the kinds of losses that really redefine people's identities. And we're going to be talking about topics that can be, frankly, very uncomfortable. So I'm like, one of the biggest outcomes for me that I'm hoping in this class is that we can, again, increase our comfort with grief and loss, because they're very uncomfortable topics that make people kind of shut off. So increasing our comfort. And so, but through that process, this could bring up stuff for people. So I also really encourage you to have plans in place of if any of this starts to get to you, who are you going to talk to? Like, who are those trusted friends and loved ones in your life? How are you taking care of yourself? How do you plan to process anything that might come up for you during this class? That's also something you can bring to the discussion boards or bring to me. Just let us know how you're doing, and I'm hoping we can go on this journey together as a team and learn together and feel together and think together. And I think it's going to be good, but just be prepared. So please go to the discussion board, and I'll have some prompts for you there. Again, I encourage you to start to do the reading for next week as well, to read the introduction, which will frame our discussion in our lecture next week. I encourage you to if you can stay ahead in the reading, I think that's just a really good idea. And that's all I have. I'm excited to meet all of you. Again, I'm Dr. Haley Silvestro, and we're going to have a fun, if not slightly sometimes heavy, interesting semester. Bye, you guys.